so sick of being quarantined. Actually, I don't even think we're being quarantined because this stay-at-home situation isn't really about being quarantined. This is just about staying our stupid asses away from each other. It's story time. So since we got to sit here and be all in this house, tell y'all a little story. I'm going to do this in a couple of parts because I feel like we're going to be spending a lot of time with each other without much content that I can do outside because we're kind of locked down. Check this shit out, right? Story time about my RX7. It's a long story because obviously I bought the car in like 99, so I'm going to try to speed my way on through it as quickly as possible. So check this out. I bought my RX7 in 1999. I bought an original Turbo 2 RX7. Yes, it is not a swap. It ain't like everybody else does. It was actually original turbo to RX7. My cousin found it for me. I bought it from a dealership, paid cash. I didn't have an L's because my license was suspended. They let me drive it from the lot because they didn't give a shit. And started this love affair with my RX7. It was that weird silverish, bluish, grayish kind of look that the original RX7s came with. There's a picture right there. Oh yeah, I'm gonna feed y'all in with a ton of pictures and videos as much as I can, I think. Anyway, bought this car, loved this car, instantly started modifying it. And I do mean instantly. We used to do a ton of back road racing. And I do mean racing because we weren't doing no follow the leader shit. We were actually setting up stopwatches and going from stop sign to stop sign in a back road that shall not be named because we still kind of rip through there to this day. The car was set up pretty good. I enjoyed it a lot. And then I started getting into bigger modification. As we did that, my brother, he was a Honda fan, so he had a CRX. He had this little CRX built with a little B16 that made quite a bit of power at that point in time. It was like 220 something horsepower B16. To the wheels, it was built as a backup motor for these guys that we were messing with. They had an endurance car, and their endurance program had a couple of motors that ended up, the guy was a scammer. He built my brother's motor, and they took the motor to a Thunder Hill endurance race and was using his motor in the race car and then take it out the race car and then, oh yeah, after waiting for the motor for hella long. But that's a whole nother story that we'll get into. That is the point in time that I learned about Thunder Hill. So I said, Thunder Hill, okay, cool. I want to race. I had quite a few mods at the point in time that we went to the track day. The car had turbo, the car had front mount intercooler, had injectors, had a F-Con ECU and an EVC Easy, full exhaust. Couple of things, not too crazy, but at that point in time the car made 325 horsepower to the floor. Back in 2001, 2002, that was a fast ass RX-7, and I will say it was a fast car because at that point in time that was fast for that time period, right? We get to the track, brought my dad, brought my brother, brought one of my homeboys. It was an open track day. HPDE, High Performance Driver Education, was set up in 4 different groups. But my very first track day didn't have any of that grouping. Open HPDE day. That meant that I just got out the track and run what I brung. Whoever was around me is whoever was around me. I'm talking about people passing you left and right, in corners, dive bombing you. It was a way different time period back then, and fools were really going hard. C5 Vet, the Z06, was dominating everything. Just so happens I got on the track and I'm dealing with this high stress environment. Just so happened to be on the track and I seen this Viper. I was coming around turn 6, coming through turn 7, coming through turn 8, going down into turn 9 at Thunder Hill, and I saw this Viper going into turn 10. Through the little rhythm section, we're going into the back straight. Going into turn 15, I overtake him. My brother's filming, my father's there rooting me on. It was a great day. I was achieving greatness. So that was my very first track day. We captured that on video, we bring it home, I'm showing everybody, and now I feel like a certified racer. You can't tell me shit. I honestly felt like I was Willie T. Ribbs and I was about to embark on a new journey of racing. And I probably could have, and I probably should have, come to think about it. Between that, I would stay out in the streets with my friends. We were racing, we were doing our thing. It was a point in time, I heard about Gymkhana, but not like the current Gymkhana, right? I'm sophisticated as shit, drinking root beer out of a red cup with my pinky up. It was literally an autocross on a racetrack where you did a little bit of drifting, and we were obsessed with that. But I didn't really know the sense of drifting. I didn't know what drifting was. I was using that car at night to like haul ass, be a road warrior, hit the back roads up, driving it to work in the daytime. That was my only vehicle. Loved it a bunch. I was working at Circuit City, man. I was part of the road shop, which is the car audio shop. I was putting in TVs, remote starts, and alarm systems with shock sensors for windows and everything, and proximity sensors. You walk past my car, shit went off, flashing headlights. It did all kind of crazy shit, and I was so hyped about it, you know, that the car had such duality. Again, I didn't know anything about rotaries, people claiming they weren't reliable, because as far as I understood, mine was perfectly fine. At this point now at Circuit City, I had it for like 3 years. I've done track days on it. I was always beating on it on back roads, doing everything. It was great, right? But then one day I was remote starting the car fires up, and I'm brushing my teeth. And I'm in the bathroom brushing my teeth, and I hear the idle rev up. I'm like, what the hell going on with that? So I turned the remote start off. I'm like, not a big deal. Kept brushing my teeth. Now the car was parked in the driveway downhill, away from the house. So I just came out, walked right to the door, hopped in, and I'm driving, getting ready to go to work. So as I come out of my driveway and make the turn to go down my street to the stoplight, I'm seeing people on the sidewalk backing up. This lady had a dog, and she yanked her dog from, like, away from the street, and she's looking horrified. And I'm looking like, fuck is this bitch problem, right? I come to the stop light, make a stop, and that Turbo 2 hood scoop, soon as I stopped, smoke came out the shit. And I saw a little flicker. Man, I threw that bitch in reverse, and as I'm backing up, I saw a trail of fire in front of me. But as I'm backing up looking in the rear view, I saw a trail of fire to the house. This is obviously a fuel leak. And I back it up into the driveway, cut the car off, pop the hood, grab a water hose, and I spray that shit down. I'm spraying it. Theoretically, this fire should not have gone out. Don't know how it did. I was ODing that thing with the water hose. I was blasting it. Oddly, I went to start the car again, and it started right back up, but I said, nah. I'm leaving it right here. Left it right there, and that's the only time I really had an engine issue, right? A little crispy under the hood. To this day, actually, if you look under my hood, you could still see on the firewall, the silverness on the firewall has soot. It looks like soot because I've never cleaned my engine bay. It looks like it has marks of fire, or an element that you can tell that shit was on fire before. The motor was still good. It just was a fuel fire. But from advice from people, told me pull everything out, put something new in. Put that in, put my turbo setup on it. Car was running great. I'd already got it tuned. I didn't retune it. Car ran fine. Ended up going with my homeboy to this guy's spot that let us use a dyno. He had just put his 300ZX twin turbo together. We didn't have the internet to go ahead and bang and think of keywords to put in, try to figure out how to get some more power. We just went and knew about air fuel ratios, timing, and spark, and we would make the adjustments. This guy was overseeing us, letting us try to figure out how to tune our cars. And my RX7, we tinkered with a little bit, and I'd already made 320 horsepower. I ended up making 365 horsepower that night. What we used to do, we used to run paint thinner in my fuel, almost like E85 or 100 octane. A mixture of the paint thinner and the fuel. Kind of how we mix our two-stroke with our gas now in the rotary. That's how I was already doing it. So we're flying all over the Bay Area in this car. I'm absolutely having a blast. I am freeway racing. I am still doing the gym kind of stuff. It's just my daily. We're having a blast. So then I'm feeling fresh to death, and I paint the car. Yeah, that's kind of cool, but it was kind of like a yellowish white, right? I wanted it to be crispier white. So drove on that a couple months. Car's running fine. Get it painted again a couple months later. A little bit of a different color white. Happy about it. Car's looking great. Fantastic. I'm still on stock wheels though, but the car looks great. We go do some back road driving in Half Moon Bay. We're dipping, diving through switchbacks. We're having a blast. I'm not going too hard because I don't know this road. My boy claimed he knew the roads, so I was like, let's keep it rocking. It's great, it's amazing, but there are some trees that hang over, right? This is late at night, kind of during the winter. There's some dew falling off the trees and a nice little bed of water that's coming across the road. It's nighttime, I can't see it. I'm driving behind my homeboy. We're going through a corner, and then we make a switchback going to the right, And as I'm looking through the corner using his headlights because he's in front of me, I didn't see that he had ran across a little patch of water. What I did see was his car start to understeer and go off the road. This has happened many times. We used to push enemy drivers through the back roads a lot to make them understeer to fly off. The second we saw them understeering going off, we push and go by them. Whatever they did when they went off the road, that was on them. So that kind of didn't trip me out. So I steer in because I was thinking of going around him. He's gonna crash because I could see the hill was really close. There was no runoff on the road. I steer inside, his car hits the hill, and as his car hits the hill, my car hit that same patch of water and went right up. Oh, dude, I just missed fully rear-ending him, which would have collapsed my front. What happened was, I just missed him, and if this didn't happen, I would have been fine. I would have just went off and touched off and came back on the road. His car bounced off of the hill, flew back, and hit my car right on the front, right over the wheel. Pushed my whole frame sideways. I'm like, oh, it's over, calling my wife. Oh, it's over, my car is destroyed, it's totaled, it's wrecked, it's whatever. Drove home, wheel cambered out like this, hella positive, hella sunk back in the wheel well, skidding the whole way. I think it was 67 miles I drove with the car just all the way down the freeway. Surprised I had tire left when I got home. Sent it to the body shop, got another fender. Janky ass body shop didn't do actual repairs. They just started hooking my shit up and yanking it until it looked like it was alright. Frame is still not to spec. Anyway, paint the car again. Since the whole front end was clapped, I got border arrow. Decided to go with a carbon fiber hood. Now, although the guy painted the whole car, I had a carbon fiber hood at home. Couldn't wait. Got the car home. It was looking amazing. I was feeling like the damn man driving home. Oh, I got some wheels because I had obviously got my turbo fan blades destroyed. Bought some wheels, slapped some wheels on. I mean, I ultimately felt like the man, right? Looking at his car for a while, I didn't like overall look about it, so I added side skirts. Now, it's time to do another track day. Still feeling like the man, car still making a ton of power, and I feel like it's time for me to hit up some more track day events. Now I got my Arrow, it looks like a race car. I feel like I need to pick back up where I left off. So then we go to Sonoma Raceway. This is possibly around like 2004, 2005-ish. All I knew was the NASA events. And by that time, we were able to sign up, use my cousin's computer because I didn't have one at the time. And I signed up for NASA, HPDE, and I signed up straight away for Group 3. I felt like, I'm already great. I've gotten tons of road experience. And I've already did a track day, the open track day that I did great at. So, I mean, I'm ready for Group 3. I don't want to sit behind nobody and not be able to pass them till the straightaway. I don't want to get a lead follow. I don't want to have an instructor in my car. I'm going Group 3. We get there. It's a dope track day. I'm having a blast. Sonoma Raceway was crazy. It was mind-blowing. Elevation changes. This is my first time there and my first time on the track. I had no clue what it looked like aside from some Gran Turismo, and at the time we were playing Tourist Trophy motorcycle game. It was great. So I'm out there having a blast. I'm coming up turn 3, and turn 3 I see this like regular pro race spec standard, not power delivery, but it had suspension, it was light, and it was on racing tires and brakes. See a Z going up over the hill. So I go run him down, coming down into turn 5. I'm on him. We're going down into turn 6, and I was gonna go inside, but he dove down on me. So I said, all right, you little hoe. He dove down, I dove outside. And I started making the overtake on the outside. But as I'm coming on the outside, I saw him look at me, and he started to come outside. But I have the momentum. I'm coming around him. He can't stop it. But he's cutting the track off that I'd be able to come out at the bottom of turn 6, because at the bottom of turn 6, if you're not tracking inward, the car is just naturally going to understeer out. Got right around him, pulled on him all the way up into turn 7, brake, turn in, never see the guy again. Next lap, I'm coming around the start finish, and I'm getting black flags pointed at me. You! Alright, what did I do now? So basically, you already gotta respect it, because as soon as you come to the next flag saying in 3, you! I'm like, okay, they're really on me. You know, when you first get black flag, you're looking around like, oh shit, not me. Nah, you nigga. Hit, come in, guys are looking for leaks. I'm like, what are we looking for leaks for? They're like, oh, the guys are saying you're sliding all over the place. You got complaints that you're sliding all over the place. It's gotta be oil. Your car's gotta be leaking. They were trying to pull that rotary shit on me. I'm like, no, my car ain't leaking. And then you're like, well, you're passing guys in bad zones, and you this and that. You're done for this session, and we'll talk to you at the download meeting. Download meeting is after the end of the session. Everybody that's in the HPDE classes, you go into like a classroom setting. You guys talk about what's going on track, what your experience is, how you're feeling, how comfortable you are, etc., etc., etc. In the download meeting, I'm the bad guy. It happens to be about me. This dude is yelling at me, literally, you're out here hot rodding, you're hot shooting. Now, at that point in time, it was a very close-knit group of guys. These guys go to track days all the time. Newbie dudes, respect it, or whatever. I just didn't know any better because I didn't know anything about that element. I didn't know anything about that culture. I just knew from street racing and back road racing, I gotta be fast. I'm fast, I'm gonna go by you. I didn't have any track etiquette because remember, at the open track day, guys were shooting by me in places that they technically shouldn't, but it was an open track day. I thought that was the way to go, right? So I'm doing my thing the same way that they did me. I was doing them at Sonoma. First time on the track too, so I didn't know where was a good or where was a bad place to pass. I was just passing everything in sight. Dude, I mean, he was close to walking in my face pointing fingers at me. So he's telling me, and this is how I knew the dudes that I passed was whining like some bitches, telling him how I probably think my car is so fast. How? We haven't had a conversation. You don't know what I think. I don't think shit. Only thing I'm thinking is getting around this track. So they're telling him I think my car is hella powerful. I think I'm hella fast. So he comes at me like, you think your car has some power? He had a Fiero. I can take my Fiero and just stand on the gas and do a 180 here in the paddock. And I'm thinking to myself, nigga, so? That's just a donut, and the car's supposed to do that if you got torque. That doesn't mean anything to me. But I'm taking it humbly. Okay, yes sir, I understand. But in my head, I'm like, yo, who is this nigga talking to, yo? I'm like, what's wrong with Blood? So he's hollering, you just earned yourself an instructor for the rest of the day until the instructor sees fit that you don't need him anymore. I'm like, okay. And I'm literally just sitting there like, all right. And I'm like 19 at the time, so I'm just like, okay, whatever. I'm like, this browbeating can only last for so long, and if I don't say anything, I'm not going to extend it, and he'll shut up, you know? So as an 18, 19-year-old kid, that's just your thought process. So I don't know who the guy is. They told me to go wait by my car. I'll know the instructor when I see him. Cool. Here comes this guy with a full suit on. He's walking over. 24, I'm riding with you. I'm your instructor. I wish I remembered his name. So-and-so. Boom. We shake hands over the roof. He jumps in. I jump in. He's like, all right, let's go to grid. Now, remember at the time, Circuit City, and Beat, the TVs in my car, all of this extra shit. And he's looking in the car like, he's probably thinking like, young, weird-ass little kid. You know, I got a flip-up TV or whatever. So I noticed it because I had my music playing. I hit it and turn this shit off it's wild when you playing wild nigga shit and some white dude jumps in your vehicle. I'm trying to turn volumes down. Oh shit, you know. Come into the lineup. They're sending guys off. And so he hasn't said anything. Nothing at all. So I asked him, how do you want to see me drive? What do you want to see? He said, don't worry about it. We'll just get out here and see where you're at with it. I'm like, okay. I'm next in line. I send the guy out. Flag dude points at me. You ready? I'm like, yeah. He's like, all right, go. So Sonoma, you come out of the pit up a huge ass hill, right? I'm nervous because the track is hot, and I know when they say go, that means you're clear. Could not be clear in a little bit. Get your ass on. That's what I was taking it as, because that's kind of the situation. So I get on it. We go up the hill. Dudes start laughing. I'm like, you know what I'm saying? We clear turn 2. We start pushing. He said, I get it, because at that point I went in the third. And you know, all cars seem quick first, second gear, right? When you get that third gear pull and that motherfucker still stuffing you in your seat, you know it's real, right? You know it's real at that point. So I'm hitting third, and it's like, whoop! And I guess he looked over and saw we were lowering the RPMs, and the car had hella torque. It had some push on it. So he immediately said, I see what happened. He's like, all right, so as soon as we clear turn 3, we're going down in the 4-5. He said, all right, get him right at the exit of 6. This is a car that's out probably like 13 cars on me. I'm like, shit, tires ain't warm, whatever. We just came on an outlap. So I don't know if he thought about that, or it could have been a test. So he tell me to get blood. I get him. What? Going fucking wastegate screaming. We're pulling. Whoop. We run right up into him as we crest going into turn 6. I'm like half throttle, and then he saw me pull 4th gear, and when I pulled 4th gear, my thought process was I'm loading up, and by the time we get to the bottom of 6, I'm going to come around the guy and outrun him up the front straight. But this was a 2003 or 2002-ish M5. He was like, he's not gonna outrun this M5, but he saw me grab 4th gear, and he heard me get on the throttle, turbos loaded up, everything's loaded up, and we start accelerating. As soon as we got to the bottom of 6, I break out for daylight. This M5 is riding, right? We're drag racing up this fucking straightaway, going into a braking zone in turn 7, and I'm a car geek, so as we're pulling, whoop, I look over and I look at his brake package, and I say, yeah, this nigga got brakes, right? Because I'm going right on the inside. He has the line, and I'm trying to get the line to get around him in the braking zone to go into the corner. So I get right nose out in front of him, and as I got nose out in front of him, we're in the braking zone. And I'm seeing out the corner of my eye, the nose of his car is right there, and as soon as he hit the brakes, whoop, I hit the brakes, boom! And we moved in. The back of the car got a little light, because remember, this is still cold tires. The back of the car got a little light. We go into turn 7, and I know the dude in the Beamer was like, dipshit about to run off the track. Stupid little motherfucker. That's dude that was in the driver's meeting. Blah, blah, blah. I knew that was just what he was thinking. Car got light, and as it got light, this is regular. This is back roads. This is what happens on the back roads, you know? Car got light, I counter steered a little bit, and he saw me downshift into 3rd, and I just loaded the car up, car sideways. I burned a little bit of rubber, got it under control, got it down, hooked on 7B, off to the races, right? Boo, we flowing through. He starts chuckling a little bit. I'm like, what is this dude's fucking problem, right? We come down 9, 10, come down this little straightaway, turning in turn 11, and as I came out of that, burning rubber again. Whoa! And it was a slight counter steer, right? Flying out, and then he was on it. Get so-and-so before, woo, whatever, we achieved that. Get such and such before, okay, we get it. Get that car, get this car. It was 3 laps, which seemed like I ran a full race. 3 laps of him telling me, get this dude by this turn. Get this dude on the inside. Kill him in the braking zone. Pass this guy, run deep into the, like he's just telling me all this shit, and I'm like, oh my God. My heart's beating out my chest. Boom, 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 boom. 3rd lap, I said, do you mind if we come in? We're coming around the back, and I'm like, do you mind if we pit? He said, no, go ahead. So we come in and pit. He says, hey, I'm going to hop out. You're good to go back out, man. I'll see you in the driver's meeting. I was, I'm like, nope, I'm done for this session. I'm chilling. I didn't go back out. So anyway, time comes, we walk back over to the building for drivers meeting. Everybody's in there quiet, kind of sitting there with their hands crossed type. Everybody's being like very, very civil. It was a whole different vibe from the previous drivers meeting when I walked in there. Walked in the door, I saw he was sitting in the back. So I'm, oh hey, it's the only guy I know here now. I walked into the back, sat down with him, and I'm just sitting there quiet. Man, it was just a weird vibe in there. So here comes old barking dude, right? Fiero bro. He comes in here. All right, how did the young kid with the instructor, how did he do? He's talking to the guy, right? Man, this shit was kind of like the scene of a movie. He just sits there and he's got his leg half crossed like a straight gentleman, and he's like, y'all just scared dude can drive. He was like, what y'all need to stop doing is doing people like this. He was like, the kid can drive. His car is faster than most of your cars. It's just not set up right. And he doesn't have enough tire under the car. So instead of y'all telling him that he's no good and browbeating him and dogging the kid, how about you guys take him under your wing and explain things to him? Explain how things move out here. You can make him a better driver, and he's already got good talent. Don't make him go away from what we're doing because we want to have more people here to expand the grassroots. I'm sitting here like, oh shit. Oh shit. Now I got the, oh shit. Yeah. Yeah. Tell him again, tell him again, man. And so, he's telling the dude that was browbeating me, he said, yo, no, he told the dude that I ran on the outside. He said, you just mad that the kid beat you on the outside and you tried to close him off, but he still stayed in it and he's got nuts. He was like, the kid has nuts. So he was like, he's coming around corners and he's doing a nice controlled 4-wheel drift. He was like, he's not out of control. He said he knows how to use everything his car has. He was like, it's just not enough tire. It's not enough grip. It's not enough suspension. His car has body roll still, and he's breaking loose. He has more power than he has, capable setup. He said it's a typical street racer thing. It's a typical, not street racer because he didn't know I street race, but I told him I do all kind of street stuff. So he said, it's typical of a guy coming new to the sport, right? So he's like, so y'all just chill out, man, and let the kid have some fun and, take him under the wing. And if you fast enough, tell him to follow you. And he was like, I bet you he'll stick on your shit. Dude, I'm sitting there like, I wanted to slow clap the nigga. You know what I'm saying? And so, anyway, we walk out of the driver's meeting. No, he leaves early. And so we're still there. And so they just act like nothing happened. Okay, guys, we're going to go into the next session. You guys got 20 minutes and blah, 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 blah. Check your tires, check your fluids. We'll get back out there and have some fun and finish out the day. So everybody gets up and I kind of sit there and wait because I kind of felt like, oh, shit, there might be some animosity. I'm going to leave last. So everybody got up and I'm letting everybody go. Go ahead. After you. I'm still a young kid, So everybody leaves and dude stayed in there. I walk out. So as I walk out, my driver instructor, he's still standing kind of over to the garages. I walk out there and he says, hey, come here, man. So I'm like, yes, sir. He's like, hey, look, man, I want you to seriously consider getting your car set up by professionals and you coming out a little bit more and just understanding how the track works so that you'll know your way around the track. He said, you have a point and shoot mentality. And he said, I could tell you do like back roads. And he was like, but your throttle is like good. It's good controlled. He was like, you're not scared of the RPMs climbing. So he was like, but I need you to learn to control the energy going out the back of the car. He was like, you have a very powerful rear-wheel drive car. It's really light. It's really fast. So he was like, there's only so many times that you can get on your car like that before you're out of tire, or let's just say somebody crashed in that corner and you come up on a different element. So he was like, so just learn to use the car's grip and get out of the corner, and if you have a car set up a little bit better, you'll get out of corners a lot faster. I want you to work on that, and I want you to come out here and keep coming out here. I'm like, all right, yes, sir. And he was like, I feel like you're good. No, I asked him. I said, how do you think my driving is? He's like, I feel like you're good, man. If you just stop drifting, you'll be a really good driver. He was like, you got to learn to do that when it's time to do it. And out here, drifting's not fast. He said, keeping the grip and accelerating on corner exit and maintaining that energy through the corner, that's how you're going to be a fast driver. Drifting isn't fast. And so I'm like, what the fuck is drifting? He looked at me like, because I was a young kid at the point. He looked at me like, you don't know what drifting is? I'm like, nah, I'm totally lost. He was like, yeah, you got a computer at home? And remember, I didn't have a computer at the time. I'm like, nah, but I kind of got access to one because I worked at Circuit City. I can go on a computer there. My cousin had a computer. He's like, go get on a computer or go to the library, jump on a computer, and put in drifting, and you'll thank me later. I want to see you at the next track day. Needless to say, I went home. I Googled drifting. And that was it. That was it. It was over. It literally was over. That's all I wanted to do after that. I said, because I had all these option videos, grip videos, and I'm looking at it, and I was just hyped off the grip videos, looking at the Gymkhana. So I knew what drifting was. I didn't know it was called drifting. And I'm like, oh shit. This is what we've been doing playing around in the parking lot. This is what we've been doing trying to emulate the grip videos. This is what we've been doing. Oh, I got bars. I got this. Because going around in the back roads at night, and we're pushing as hard as possible. If my car is spinning tires on a prepped racetrack, you know it's spinning tires on the street. That was one thing my wife hated riding with me, because I would be a little tail loose going through, but I was a rally fan. So cars getting sideways through corners, that wasn't scary to me. That's what I wanted them to do, things like that. So that's kind of what was over with. But I also didn't I was kind of driving home, and Sonoma was close, so I was a shorter drive home. Coming back from Thunder Hill, I was all hyped about the best day ever. Coming home from Sonoma, I was kind of perplexed. Like, I had this nigga yelling at me. I had niggas at the track mad at me, and I wasn't really trying to do too much. I was just trying to have some fun, but I wasn't having fun the right way. Damn. But then dudes saying this, that, this, and like that, and like this, and like that, and so I was kind of already perplexed about coming back to like events like that. So then when I went home and I Googled drifting, I said, that's what the fuck I want to do. But unfortunately, shortly after that, I blew my motor, because I thought, I'm tired of going to Home Depot and buying xylene and toiline to put in my fuel. Let me just put 91 in it tonight, and we're just going to go have some fun. I'm going to turn my boost controller off, and I'm not going to go off of my high boost settings, whatever. And we were doing a freeway pull on the way back home. My car loaded, boost in third gear, and said, literally getting off the freeway headed home. I was getting off the freeway, and my car was struggling to hold idle. I limped it home, and that was it. That motor was blown. So that led to my very first motor pull. As you can see in the picture, I was not happy about it, but my boy DeAndre, who was just brilliant, his thought process has always been on like another level. And he told me, look, man, this is your first motor pool. You got to sit in the engine bay, take a picture. You may never do this again. You've had great results with this platform. This may be the only time you blow a motor. So take this picture, enjoy it, put it up on MySpace, man, and, we got the motor done. That started my drifting, y'all. That started my love of drifting, but at that point in time, all of my car shit halted. Because when that motor was blown, it wasn't an instant engine swap. I ordered one on eBay, and as it was coming, my only vehicle I had at that point was my R6. And my R6 was so easy and so fun that when I got that eBay motor in, it sat. And it sat for a couple months. So before we even did that engine swap, that's kind of why I wasn't happy, because at the point I was like, man, fuck this car. I'm having a blast on the bike. We got it done. I put the motor in the car, and I put the car in the garage indefinitely. Car ran, everything was back, but I put it in the garage. And I started riding a lot. I mean a whole lot. And that's gonna be it. That's part one. That's my fucking journey as far as the beginning origin story of my RX7, what I did, learning the grip, drifting, how it kind of got in my ideals, in my mindset. And part two, we'll talk about the motorcycles, because that was such a brief period in my life, but it was so much fun. A ton of fucking fun. But it didn't last long. So, we'll be back. That's going to be it. I'll come back to you with the part two. I don't know, it's kind of fun, dude. I got a whole lot of editing to do because I did a lot of fucking talking. But I'm going to catch y'all in the next one. Because we quarantined, baby! 2 up. 2 up.